Hello, and welcome to the podcast that nobody was asking for. And I mean, literally, nobody was asking for this. They begged us not to do it. I'm Jake, here with my co host, Hip Hop Nation, Jake Hipple. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm Jake.
You're Jake. We've had technical difficulties. This is actually the second time we're doing all of this. So that makes it even more fun for you guys to listen to, knowing that we've all said this all before to literally no one. So to get to this point, what's that?
And we're saying it again to no.
Yeah, we're going over it again. So nice. You got to say it twice. A lot of fantasy sports popping off right now, but we're here to recap our fantasy baseball season, at least for our dynasty league. What's that?
Seattle Kraken.
Got put some money. This is not brought to you by DraftKings. Bet on the Seattle Kraken for stuff. So let's do a quick recap of how we got to the end, who won our fantasy baseball. So just to review who made the playoffs, Adam, Gaba, me, Yaz, Poro, and Quelo made the playoffs. Missing out on the playoffs this year was Hipple, Juberg, Fleck, and DG. First round of the playoffs, we'll do a quick recap. Top two seeds, Adam and Gaba, had byes. And in the first game, Yaz edged out Poro in a real tight game to advance. And then I squeezed a victory away from Quelo in the last couple of days, going to the semifinal round. We ended up with an East versus West showdown, where two divisions from the East and two divisions from the West met in the semifinal round for the division championships. And in that one, in the East division, Adam, the defending champion, stuck it to Yaz pretty good by about 150 points to advance to the championship game. And then beating Gaba for the first time this season, two previous losses in the regular season, but an absolute slaughterhouse for most of the week. Came my win over Alex Gaba in the West Division, advancing to the championship game. But that was where the steam engine went out for my team and got destroyed in the championship game by now repeat champion Adam Pepperoni. And he has now won three of the 4 years that we've done this league. What do you think, Hip?
I got robbed.
You got robbed. Some might say that's kind of by design. But final standings, I got to go back now. Final standings, we had Adam was in first. I was in second. Yaz in third. Gaba in fourth. Casey in fifth. Quelo in sixth. Juberg in seventh. Fleck in eighth. DG in ninth. And Hipple finishing dead last.
Whoa. To be clear, the playoffs, I would do it based on draft order, because we do regular season that way, because you have so many people that are out of it. They don't check their line. Like me, I didn't check my lineup on the losses. So if we're doing it based on draft order, I am not last. I want to be clear. I did not finish last.
If you want to make that caveat, you can make it. Hippo, which team was the most surprising for where they finished?
I would say me and you, the Jake and the Jake.
You think the Jakes were the best showing here?
I think they were the most surprising showings. Okay.
I think Quelo for me is probably the most surprising showing, kind of finishing middle of the pack. He had the team to make a bigger impact, but I think he got down really early in the standings and kind of decided to blow it up, and then ended up being better than he thought he was going to be, and so kind of lost his edge from that. But yeah, every other team, I don't think it was that surprising. I think it's surprising that you finished, in 10th for the final standings, but based on the restrictions we put on you from a previous incident we shall not name, it's not surprising that you finished lower in standings and missed the playoffs, which was kind of what we were going for. So basically to go over this episode to kind of give our recap of how we feel about each team and maybe something significant they did this year. We are going to give each team an award. We're going to go through by that final rankings to give each award. And then I have division, Cy Young, Silver Slugger, and overall MVP for the league. That sound good, Hip?
This sounds fantastic.
All right, so we're going to start with Adam. I am giving Adam the Nick Walenda Award. Nick Walenda is the tightrope guy who like did the walk outside of or over the Grand Canyon or whatever. And I'm giving him this award for living life on the wire. He made the most waiver wire acquisitions of any team in the league this year, which is his recipe for success. Obviously it's working, but it was like, I got to find
he did. This is just moves, so it includes trades, but he made 165 moves. Next closest was 78.
Yeah. I want to say, where is it at? Yeah, 165 moves, dropped 166. So he was definitely riding the waiver wire, life on the wire this season. That's why I gave him the Nick Walenda Award. Hibble, what award do you have for the number 2 team in the league?
For the number 2 team, I kept it set. Well, just be clear, I gave you and Quayle a shared award.
Okay.
For all your tradings back and forth, but just for you individually, I kept it simple just to applaud the season, the turnaround you had, and gave you just the worst to first award. I know it's not technically worst to first, but to go from bottom of your division to going to the championship game, it's impressive.
I appreciate that. I made a lot of moves to get to that point. So, and it also didn't have a lot of injuries. That was some problems in previous years. But I think the shared award for Quayle and I should probably be the Spider-Man meme award, because it's like the 2 Spider-Men pointing at each other.
If we could make it a meme,
yeah, we basically swapped rosters.
If we gave it a name, I gave it the Wife Swap Award.
The Wife Swap Award. Okay. It's an interesting award. All right.
We traded players, non-playoff players with the playoff manager, and then we traded the playoff players to the non-playoff manager to see how you guys would do in different environments. And it turns out you did exactly the same with those players.
Exactly.
So is it the manager that makes the players, or is it the player that makes the manager?
It's got to be just over ownership and overall like organization, right? Like you got to keep your team facilities good and got to get the best out of guys.
But my big question is, are you swapping wives back to your original?
I don't think we're going back at this point because those trades are set.
Poor wives.
So what you got for Yaz's award?
Yaz and co-owner Yaz, they get the Kill Bill Award. The reason I originally this is called the Heartbeat Award, but my analogy turned into a Kill Bill Award to get more tickets into the theater. So Yaz being 500, if you were a heart monitor, or what are they called, like ECG at the hospital? EKG.
All right.
If he were that, he'd be one horizontal line for like the previous 3 years, and he'd be pronounced dead. Yes, if you were a patient in a hospital, would have been pronounced dead about 3 years ago. Just straight lining. And then this year, we got a little blip, and now he's alive. Not only alive, but he came in 3rd. So, like Kill Bill, he was dead, and he was in a coffin underground. But he punched his way up through the coffin, through the ground, and he's alive. And if it's anything like Kill Bill, he's going to kill everybody that thought he was dead or made him think he was dead. So watch out, because he's 3rd this year. Might be 1st.
Scary team going into next year. You also have Gaba's award. What's Gaba's award?
I gave him the Titanic Award.
The Titanic Award.
It's over. The ship is sinking. He had all the hype. all the glamour. He talks himself up, says he's the best, says he's gonna do things that nobody can do before, and then sure enough, when he's getting on his way there, he just runs into an iceberg and he is plummeting. Not even close. Gets blown out in the playoffs. Didn't make it to a championship game last year, I don't think, or did he? I don't know. Whatever he lost.
He did. I don't think he did.
Either way, he lost, and I just think his team will not recover, and it's over. The ship is gone underwater.
Movie from Steven Spielberg coming, or James Cameron coming soon, right?
Yes.
So I have Poro's award. I struggled to come up with Poro's / Casey Bell's award for a while. Just because they were a really solid team, but there wasn't anything like super remarkable. They were the only team to make the playoffs with a negative run differential, which was kind of interesting, or negative point differential. But I'm giving them, and it has a very simple explanation. I'm giving them the "but does he get on base" award for leading the league in walks. And they were also pretty up. They were third in the league in hit by pitches. So whatever they have going on with their offense, they got some really high OBP guys because they were walking everywhere.
Much simpler than mine.
You got Quaylo's award.
All right, so kind of going off you with based off stats. Well, first off, remember he has the wife swap award sharing with you.
Spider-Man.
His individual is "Stop, Hold Up, Wait," the song with Snoop Dogg.
Yeah. We'll clip
Maybe.
it.
Yeah, good song. He's the "Stop, Hold Up, Wait" because for a few reasons. Stats wise, he had about, I think it was 60 something holds for the year, and next closest I think like 28. So he had over twice as many holds as anybody in the league. Also, somebody needed to tell him to stop because he kept trading all his players to you, and now he is a 500 team who's didn't have a good year. So stop trading, hold up, lead the league in holds, and wait. If he had the comeback victory coming from behind, I think he was down a couple games with a few games to go, 1 out, scored a ton of points, overcame Uberg, who looked well positioned in front of him, and made the playoffs. So stop, hold up, wait.
I like it.
Yep.
So I have Uberg's award next, and I think his award kind of goes into probably the reason he missed the playoffs this year. But I'm giving Juberg the Dave Stewart Award, and I'm giving him this award because we all know Dave Stewart as the GM of the Arizona Diamondbacks from 2014 to 2016, making some of the most egregious trades in all of baseball.
Yeah.
Such as sending Dansby Swanson to the Braves for Shelby Miller and some other players too, but sending a number 1 overall pick for Shelby Miller. But those trades did take a few years, at least the Braves won the trade, that year, but it took a while for the Diamondbacks to really lose once Dansby started taking off. But I think it's safe to say that Juberg lost those trades pretty quickly, considering he traded Ozzie Albies away to a contender. So that's my award for him. Make better trades.
Now, how close were you giving it to whoever the Pirates GM was for the Meadows, Archer, Glasnow, Baz trade?
I was pretty close on that one. I think just, being a big Dansby fan, the Dave Stewart stood out more to me because it seemed like in the Dave Stewart years for Arizona, the Braves and the Diamondbacks were me and Quaylo just trading everybody all the time. Um, but yeah, that's I felt like that one was a little more egregious. And the Rays also just take players, no matter who they are, from their previous organization and make them great. So
Yeah.
uh,
Also, the Rockies GM in contention for the naming of that award,
Bridich or Bridich, yeah.
whatever his name is.
So the Bad
Or
GM
what?
award.
Yeah.
I also have Flex Award. And my award for Jonathan Fleckenstein is the Swaggy Get Swaggier Award. We all know Fleck's love of really swaggy players. Some of his favorite being Yelich and Machado, Harper, and he has taken a lot of effort to acquire swaggy players for his fantasy team. And this year, in acquiring a lot of really good young talent and a good rebuilding year for him, he acquired Jazz Chisholm Jr. and Brian Hayes. So just a really good year for his overall team swag, I would say, not as a result based, but like if you had to pick an all fashion lineup, they would probably win. If he could somehow get a hand on like Jock Peterson and get his pearl necklace in there, he'd probably be better. But
You might already have him.
Yeah, maybe I don't think he had Jock Peterson. But yeah, that's why his award is the Swaggy Get Swaggier Award. So Hip will bring us DG's award.
DG gets the Broken Hand Award in honor of Huascar Ynoa, who he rosters.
He doesn't have Devin Williams, does he?
No, I did.
Oh, dang. I would have laughed so hard if he had Devin Williams, too.
It would have been great if he did. But no, he gets the Broken Hand Award because of just all the injuries he deals with. I mean, Mets training staff, something with that name could have been played. I'm a Broken Hand is a Huascar Ynoa. His team's always injured, even though he's got some good young players. But also Broken Hand Award because it's not that he's hurting his players, but his team's been struggling for a while. So maybe some of this is self-inflicted by not changing the system around it, acquire healthier players with better medicals, and keeps playing the risky ones. And it's not working.
At some point, you got to fire your coaching staff and clean house and start fresh. He's got some good move. He's got some good base, like some good keepers, but he's got to do some building.
You got the big thighs.
Yeah, plenty of base there. He's all about the base there. All right, so final award is for the Olsen Meadows, owned by my co-host James, aka Jake Hipple, and I'm giving him the Southern Methodist University Award, aka the SMU Award,
the Death Penalty Award,
the Death Penalty, because due to his restrictions, it ended up making him miss the playoffs for the first year in league history. But he still managed mediocrity with a 7-11 record, so it was not the worst record in the league. But I think that award pretty much speaks for itself.
Second highest
scoring. I don't know if that was SMU, but he flew too close to the sun. This also could have been called the Icarus Award, but Karma. He got burned. All right. Any last thoughts on the awards before I go to the real awards?
Yeah, let's post them in the group chat. See which one wins. We'll see which one that everybody likes most.
Okay.
I wrote them.
So I'm gonna give out divisional Cy Young first. So in the East Division, it was kind of a close call. There really wasn't a clear winner by the stats, but I'm giving the divisional Cy Young to Yaz. He had pretty decent stats across the board. So, his main pitchers were Lance Lynn, Sonny Gray, Marcus Stroman, Freddie Peralta. He had Kershaw for a little while before he went on the IL late in the season, but really good, solid pitching staff, guys who had good years. Maybe not, the top of the line guys, but at least like solid MLB starters. And so I'm giving his staff the Cy Young for the East Division. For the West Division, I'm giving myself the Cy Young. Gonna feel myself here for a minute. All my team did was pitch. That's all they did. We led the league in Ks, led the league in quality starts, complete games, shutouts, wins, losses, like so many categories. My staff dominated behind the efforts of Garrett Cole, Shohei Ohtani, Jack Flaherty for some of the year, Scherzer later in the year, Wayno, old man Wainwright, and then Yu Darvish before he got terrible. We had a dominant staff, and it showed.
And the only 13 blown saves. Dang.
Yeah, so the closing. Now, I didn't ride with a closer for most of the season, so that's probably a lot of it. I just used like relievers, but so yeah. All right, Silver Slugger Award. I really leaned hard into the slugging part of this award, and so for the West Division, it's got to go. Or I'm sorry, the East Division, it's got to go to Adam. Led the league in home runs. Led the league in RBIs. You can't get much slugger than that. Pretty self-explanatory. And then I'm gonna. What's that?
Yeah, way more.
Yeah, points scored. A lot of stuff. Now for the West, it was a little closer again, but I think I'm gonna have a little West Coast bias here, and I'm gonna give it to me again. I was third in the league in home runs, led the league in triples. I was where else? Yeah, that was my justification. Do you disagree or agree?
So your justification was you were third in home runs, first in triples?
Yeah, that's a huge slugging percentage.
What about doubles?
Not as many doubles. A lot of doubles, not as many doubles.
I don't know. Look at you, where you have more RBIs, more home runs, more doubles.
Yeah, but
more runs scored, more game-winning RBI. Yeah, but your points came from your pitching staff, not your hitters.
All right, but I didn't have guys. You know why I didn't have many doubles? Because they don't stop at second. They go to third.
He still had more extra bases.
Okay, so West Division Silver Slugger is a toss-up.
Little West Coast bias.
West Coast bias. West Coast, best coast. And then overall league MVP. I mean, it can't go to anybody except Adam. Fantastic pitching staff, fantastic offense. Led the league in points for again, won the league again. So he's got to be the most valuable owner in the league.
Yeah, and there's no argument against it. He's the Mike Trout right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Except he wins.
And isn't hurt.
Yeah. Well, he is hurt a lot.
Okay, physically, yes. Not Dynasty League.
No.
Okay. Let's see. Any last thoughts on this season? Looking forward to next season.
We're entering the last year of the original 5-year contract. So it's going to be interesting to see if it leads to at least any differences in trade deadline moves, and obviously draft picks become incredibly valuable. So probably not going to see many of those traded, but actually they might be more valuable than players for the deadline next year. So that'll be really interesting.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting. I'd also, I have notes that I've been taking all year for things to discuss at winter meetings. So we have some serious things we got to contend with for winter meetings, some rule changes and clarifications.
A lot of rule changes. We're in our CBA discussions just like the real.
Exactly. We definitely need a new CBA.
Maybe one that gives us money.
One thing I will say about this season is it's got to be the most competitive season we've had so far. Only three of the 12 teams in the league or 10 teams in the league were below 500. A lot of playoff spots were up for grabs, or 2 playoff spots were up for grabs there towards the end, vying for positions every single week. And then, your top 3 teams all finished 12-6. So, like, that's a really good competitive year. I think it's the fewest wins for a division winner yet, at least for a full schedule, not counting last year, which I can verify that very easily.
Yeah, I was going to say, even though there was 3
14.
teams under 500, realistically, only 2
14.
were not competitive.
Yeah, so it was the fewest wins, like, across the playoff teams, or the teams that made the playoffs, of any league. So, like, everything was just so close that it was just about, like, if you caught somebody on a good week in the playoffs, like, anybody could have won it.
Yeah.
So, looking forward to next year, a couple rule changes, and I think we can really tweak the competitive balance in our favor and keep this competitive nature up there.
Do you want to leave the listeners with a little teaser of one of the proposed rule changes by you?
Of one of the things I've taken notes on?
Yeah, name one subject of discussion for rule changes. That'll be a little appetizer for people
all right
listening.
So, coming at you in a couple months, we're going to have winter meetings all pulled up. Let's see. Oh, there we go. So I think the biggest thing that I would like to propose would be to expand the keepers, which is going to have a huge impact on the league. But if we're going to do that, I think we might need something like a Rule 5 draft.
Hey, I've been looking at Rule 5 draft ways to implement it every year.
Yeah.
So I've got ideas there.
There's also the lingering discussion of if we're going to stay on ESPN, but I don't know how that's going to go.
One.
That's a big juicy one. But that's a discussion for winter meetings. So tune in a couple months for that. That'll probably be the next episode of this podcast. Unless we give you like a winter meetings preview, which who knows what we'll be doing by then. Hipple, last words.
Ice cream.
Those are 2 last words. We'll leave you with that. You guys have a good one, and we'll catch you in the Discord probably, because that's the only people that listen to this. Later. And we're clear.